Jury is still out on whether India can return to its old miracle economy status of sustained 7% GDP growth. The recent projections by the World Bank do not suggest this. It also says that a large number of Indians have slid into poverty in 2020. On the other hand, unemployment has also peaked and is at all-time high. Clearly, the haters between the haves and the have-nots have widened. One indicator could be the automobile sector. The car sales have zoomed like never before, while the two-wheeler sales have been ebbed. There is a flip side, the optimists who believe that India's performance will stand out as being the strongest, and the cumulative impact of the supply side reforms over as many years of Modi government has made the economy flexible and resilient than what it used to be. RBI indeed is doing its best towards inflation targeting, keeping it at around 7% or so, expecting it to be lowered in coming months. On the governance side, digitalization has improved the delivery of governance dramatically. The citizens report receiving benefits with minimum leakages and delays. There is all-round improvement across several sectors. Performers have become well performers. Laggards have started moving. At SKOCH, year on year, we carry out project level assessment based on outcomes, and we find that there are tremendous improvements across the country. With this, I welcome you all once again and introduce our speakers during the inaugural session. We have Mr. Niraj Singhal, Principal Chief Conservator of Forests and Managing Director, West Bengal Forest Development Corporation. He is an Indian Forest Services Officer of the West Bengal cadre. Has been extensively working on areas like conservation of wetlands and water bodies, coastal regulation, water resources, and environmental clearances. He was member secretary of the State Environmental Impact Assessment Authority and State Coastal Regulation Zone Management Authority, among several others. I welcome Mr. Kumar Vineet, Managing Director and Special Secretary, Uttar Pradesh Development Systems Corporation Limited, UPDESCO. He is a recipient of SKOCH Award and who has worked on an integrated governance redressal system in the state and developed it from scratch and successfully implemented it and scaled. He has guided several projects, including e-tendering, created an ecosystem for startups, and worked extensively on electronics manufacturing policy in the state. Welcome, gentlemen, once again. And I now invite Mr. Kumar Vineet for his 10 minutes comments.
Thank you, Dr. Gursharan. Thanks, SKOCH, for inviting me over here again. Well, as you said about the, should we say, the division of the World Economics Watchers about the Indian economy, that we are going to be slightly resilient, but I have a different opinion on this altogether. We have sailed through this entire process of COVID-19 in a very beautiful way, where our economy has come up to a certain extent, it has flown down, it has existed, and it is going to stay. So, God forbid, I would really be very keen to understand after 1 year that maybe so many analytics or whatever they are we are going to prove them wrong. Well, as we say about the, as we move around with the Honorable Prime Minister coming up with this one of his brilliant ideas of 5 trillion economy, Honorable Uttar Pradesh, Honorable CM of Uttar Pradesh has also come up with the same idea that yes, we should have our own concept of contributing it to a 1 trillion economy. This will be 1 trillion economy. We have already got into the mindset. We have already started working on it. Our consultants are there in place. The discussions have already started. We are already targeting a global summit again in January, where we are targeting at least 10 lakh crores of investment in Uttar Pradesh. So, to build up this entire concept of what should I say, economic booster. Now, in each and every field of development that we have all around, you can easily find that IT has got a strong presence, be it agriculture, be it marketing, be it what name the field, and you have information technology over there. So in Uttar Pradesh also, we are trying to envisage the same concept where we can have an infrastructure development all around. And that infrastructure development has to be in such a way that this entire concept is in tandem and in equilibrium and in pace with what the central government is also pursuing. So, in pursuant to the vision that we had shared in May in Gujarat, Honorable Prime Minister, that he shared his vision. On the same note, I would like to add that we have a conglomeration of, in Uttar Pradesh per se, if I would like to talk about, is that we have a conglomeration of policies that have come. Data center policy, manufacturing policy, the ITES, electronic manufacturing clusters coming up, or the defense corridor, or the medtech, or the clusters of, or the beautiful paraphernalia of the startups, right? Not concentrated merely in Noida, but in Noida, in Kanpur, in Lucknow, now in Gorakhpur, in Varanasi. So it is scattered all over, so that the entire region goes up as per the demand of that particular region. That is how we are trying to develop it. So one is the policy that brings in major players to establish their system over here. Recently, we had our data center policy, which had really blossomed up. Now we are coming up to the next step. That is the actual inaugural of one of the data centers is going to go live this month itself. So that is going to be a very big achievement that we started in January 21, and by October 22, we have something that has already been launched. So that is not just the industry that has come up beautifully, but it is also a movement of proud for us also, that we have contributed positively into it, so that this ecosystem. Secondly, in tandem with what the demand of industry actually is, because industry has to go, it has to sustain it. It's not just a one-day work or one-day wonder that it can okay, Noida Authority airport is in Jewar is coming up, but that is going to come up, and when that comes up, an entire ecosystem should build up around that, so that that area blooms up, and that area supports the entire region all over in the area nearby, so that we can actually have something very tangible out of it. We are working on ATMP labs also, because that is going to be the future days to come. Ultimately, the semiconductor industry has to come to India, and we are trying our level best that yes, UP has a certain role to play in it. Maybe the semiconductor fab unit may go to Gujarat, but maybe ATMP lab comes to Noida or Sahibabad, one of the factories that we are trying to develop. So that will help in generating entire ecosystem. Now let us come to the second part of it, where we have a very nice and strong presence of startups that are coming. These startups have worked in medtech, they have worked in agriculture, they have worked in economic zone, they have worked in fintech, and they are definitely working a big way in drone. We have a center of excellence of drone coming up in IIT Kanpur very soon. We have work of artificial intelligence that has already come up in Noida, which has a very strong presence. Some of the big wigs of artificial intelligence based in Germany. Equilibrium is there, dynamism is already existing. So if I could just narrate the entire process that we are trying to develop, because the wider horizon is India as a country that has to grow up on a steady pace, and Uttar Pradesh as a state and its contribution to it, and my part as IT professional leading to it. So in this entire conglomeration, I would say that yes, there might be certain hurdles that we have faced in a couple of years that we have just gone through, but that doesn't mean our economy has slowed down. Our economy is definitely going to two-step years to come, maybe in 1 or 2 or 3 years, you can definitely see the graph again going up in a very, very steady pace. Even in this phase, our graph has not been that dicey as it has been for so many other countries. When I went to London in 2014, I bought a dollar at 102 rupees a pound. And now I have bought it at 87 a pound. So ultimately, rupee is getting strengthened. But strength of rupee does not always mean that our economy is steady. So we have to get that flexibility where our steadiness grows up gradually. So to conclude, I would say, yes, as we are marching ahead, we have seen in the past also in 2008-9 also, the world economy was dipping, we stand. Similar way, we have it in a better way in 2019, 2021, where the world economy had its own jitters, but India could stand. Maybe the concept or the idea that this particular should go at the level of 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever was not achieved but it was steadily there. So our presence was steadily there, felt and accepted world over. So I would like to conclude by saying that yes, we are going to perform very well, and Uttar Pradesh as a state is also going to make some positive contribution. Thank you.
Excellent. I mean, these are not only words of encouragement, but reinforcing the fact that, the resilience that we have created in our system, it has been able to withstand the previous shocks, and it'll sail through the current spell of shocks, and in the future to come, we will emerge even more stronger, and we'll be building, a nation which becomes at the turn of century for the 100 years, which is what we are looking at, the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, will be able to achieve a lot more and much more, which is what we probably envisaged. Excellent. Thank you very much. May I now invite Mr. Niraj Singhal, Principal Chief Conservator of Forest and Managing Director, West Bengal Forest Development Corporation, for his 10 minutes remarks.
So thank you, Dr. Gursharan. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. So in brief, I will give the highlights of our project, which is Joint Forest Management, a people's movement in Bengal. Basically, this is the first project in India which allows the direct involvement of forest-rich population in the management as well as protection of forests. It involves grassroots level people in the planning process for the management of forests and ensure the sustainable use of forest resources to meet local needs while ensuring environmental sustainability. There are 4,465 joint forest management committees in West Bengal with more than 5,35,000 families which are involved in managing and protecting 6,58,000 hectares of forest land. And 56% of these families belong to SC and ST category. Before this concept of joint forest management was introduced, there was a lot of mistrust and direct conflict between the people living in the fringes of population and the forest staff, which led to a lot of felling in sal forests of South Bengal and the loss of fertile topsoil. Now, after this concept of joint forest management was introduced, and in which the government is sharing the 40% of the total revenue with these JFMCs, and 40% of the government receives from the ecotourism revenue. As a result, in the last 10 years, 300 crore rupees have been given to these JFMCs in West Bengal. And besides, they are also giving them free logs and tops and thinning produce, which helps them to meet their firewood requirements. The unique features are that now the people are actively participating in the grassroots level in the forest management. The sale of forest produce takes place through a completely transparent mechanism of e-auction. Technology is being used for GIS-based coop marking and mechanized harvesting. And all this JFMC share is being transferred through direct benefit transfer to the JFMC's bank accounts. The outcome of this project has been the green cover of the West Bengal has increased from 17.27% in 2011 to 21.61% in 2021, which is probably the highest increase in green cover in the entire India. And these data is based on the latest Forest Survey of India reports. The cooperation from JFMCs has resulted in zero revenge killing of wildlife since 2006 in human-wildlife conflict situations. Earlier, there were many instances where the tigers were killed when there were incidences of human-wildlife conflict in Sundarban area, but now there is no such instance. More than 20 crore mangrove species have been planted in 6,000 hectares of area in 3 coastal districts with the help of these JFMC members during last 2 years after we faced this Amphan and Yas cyclones. The incidences of forest fire have been reduced drastically with the help of JFMC members. And for the future, we have plans to register these JFMCs as societies so that they may receive funds from other agencies also, other than the forest department. Then we have planned to develop a proper mechanism for getting CSR funds from corporate houses for development of these JFMCs. Then we want to institutionalize proper linkages with industries for developing better technology for collection and packaging of NTFPs like medicinal plants, sal seeds, and moga seeds. And to integrate JFMCs with state skill development schemes for self-employment training programs. We have plans for third-party valuation of JFMCs and performance-based incentives, and to involve JFMC members more actively in the ecotourism. With this, I conclude my remarks and thank you all for patient hearing.
Well, thank you so much. So that's been, in fact, quite a deep insight into the work, which is what you have been doing. And even what you mentioned about your project, it's quite unique. And as you rightly said, there could be a lot of learning for others in the country from your interventions. Well, thank you so much. And this brings us to the end of our inaugural session.